the better that it is. You're all aware of Moore's law that dictates that computing power should double every 2 years. They're doing that in Intel and other companies. I've been down there with them and they showed me what it is that they do. Applications like Skype or GPS apps are revolutionizing the way we interact with each other and with technology. There are even suggestions that the way we interact with modern internet technology is changing the way our brains work. I wonder. I suppose in the face of such a daunting change, it could be tempting for some to act like King Canute in thinking that we could hold back the approaching tide. I want you to understand that we embrace it. I was in UCD, University College Dublin, recently, opening the new science district there. They're doing massive work on the whole nanomedicine area, which, as the conductor said to me, is now so minute, obviously, that it allows for interaction with the brain in a way that never before, carries with it that potential and also that risk. And many of our high-tech university, colleges of technology, are working in this area. Obviously, you're aware that most of the big high-tech companies are based here in Ireland, from Facebook to Google, Microsoft, HP. Some of these are doing absolutely exciting work. When BP blew up in the Gulf 2 years ago, it was actually an interaction between the Marine Institute here and IBM that has created new undersea sensors giving real-time information and all of that with massive potential developments. I was talking to HP recently. They've developed whole new sensory equipment for exploration for oil and gas, which is 1,000 times more sensitive than anything done there before. Maybe you know all about these things. Maybe you have created some, but I don't know. Obviously, people say, why Ireland? Well, small island northwest of Europe in the Atlantic. We have a tradition really of interaction with the world because of immigration, because of missionary work, because of educational work. We have only 5 million people here, but we have 70 million people worldwide. We have a long-term policy of colonization, really, but we didn't tell anybody about that yet. Some of the benefits that we have here are, young, educated, English-speaking, strong legal base, traditional entry point to the European Union, now with a single market of 500 million people. Let me tell you that after last weekend's meeting in Brussels, where the crisis of the Eurozone was actually focused on after it had been running for 2 years, and fundamental decisions were made about restructuring the debt increase, the scale of the firewall to deal with contagion, the instruments that are now available for flexibility within the Eurozone to provide a whole new environment and atmosphere for business, and Ireland's going to benefit from that. I've met most of the CEOs, or quite a deal of them anyway, of the American companies who are based here in Ireland. I had one in recently, and she said, well, one of the things we did do was to take one of our primary financial products and move it from Silicon Valley to Dublin. And when I asked her to explain why that was, it wasn't just the location or the English language or the fact that you had an educated and young workforce. She put her finger and she said it actually is the passion of the young people for the job that they do that makes the difference for us. And that's something that we're actually very proud of, and I hope that that same sort of resultant energy and creativity comes from the meetings that you have here this weekend. Yesterday, the Minister for Innovation and Jobs announced a 10 million fund aimed at encouraging overseas entrepreneurs to locate startup businesses in Ireland. That would mean a company about to start in Oregon or Pittsburgh or wherever could be attracted to come here with assistance from the state and hopefully grow in time to be export orientated. I'll have you know that in the 1990s, the late 1990s, Ireland was very much focused on small and medium enterprises. They're very strong ethos of productivity, of manufacturing and of export, and that's gone into so many other areas. But for a variety of reasons, country began to focus on sort of the construction sector to the detriment of what was a very strong export ethos that we now have to get back to. And government here, in this kind of announcement, is focusing on small and medium enterprises, access to credit for business, and the infusion then of all that creativity that will come from that. I was down in the Dog Patch Labs Europe in Barrow Street here, down beside where Google are located. Recently there are 15 companies down there backed with venture capital, and they're starting to build their businesses and hopefully move on out of those premises to bigger locations. Recently we've launched a major development in respect of the entire gaming industry. I was down there in BioWare in Galway. They're doing the Old Republic, the Star Wars Old Republic will be launched before Christmas, and they expect to double their workforce. They had 200, they're now going to have 4. It'll probably grow from that. So we are one of the easiest places to actually set up companies, and one of my ambitions is to prove that by 2016 we are actually the best small country in the world in which to do business. That means that we should be able to go back to what was inherent in the Nice Treaty and remove all the red tape and the administrative blockages and make it so much easier. A paper produced by the European Commission, which was presented recently, said you should be able to create a company in 3 days with €100. Now, obviously, when you talk to people, it's not that easy, but these are ambitious targets that can be focused on. So, from our point of view, we've trebled investment in research and development and innovation over the past decade. We understand in this country what that actually means and the good that can come of it, and we continue to promote and support to commercialise high quality research, obviously because of the jobs that it brings, and also the export potential and the development of our own economy as a consequence. So I want to see that despite the fact that countries in a bailout situation, we're headed in the right direction here. International commentary from business, from politics, from commerce now say, as a small country, we've taken the right steps about banks, restructuring, recapitalisation, all of these things. We are headed in the right direction, and hopefully can get back to the bond markets ourselves, sort of by the end of 2012, by midpoint of 2013. I've met with developers of the video games. I learned how ICT is addressing the challenges of energy sustainability, and I can see at first hand how doctors and nurses using the tablets and the software that are there. I suppose tablets is a wrong phrase to use about a hospital, but the moving around of real-time movement of beds and patients and all that, which saves so much time and energy and paperwork and all of that. So I'd just like to say to you that I really do hope that not only that you enjoy your visit here to Dublin, but that you get an understanding of just how serious we are from a government perspective in dealing with the requirements to be fiscally disciplined and to change the structures of governance here that allow for a far more open, far more energetic, far more competitive situation, and on the other, that in respect of business, this country really is open for business. And I would say to any of you high-tech, high-spec developers, innovators, thinkers, if you've got an issue that you want to communicate directly to the head of government, please feel free to contact me about this. With one warning, say it in English that I can understand, because if you talk about the language that you work in, you're way out beyond the next frontier. And I know where the next frontier is, and I'd like to help you all to be able to get there, but please make it understandable to somebody who still uses the 6310 phone, because the battery lasts for 4 or 5 days and it works irrespective of where I am in the country. I had to transfer all the other sophisticated phones through to this one. So anyway, listen, I hope you really enjoy your location here, and that out of this, let's call it the Cosgrave Initiative, comes interaction, comes that sense of passion for doing and developing new schemes, new items, new ways. So who knows, maybe on this Halloween weekend here in Dublin, the new Facebook could be mentalized, and over the next period will actually be created here in this our capital city. Thank you all very much. I hope you enjoy your stay. Thank you.